Hey there, friendlies, what's up? Welcome to the 10th of February episode of my live stream. Sorry I'm late. Fell asleep putting the squeak to bed. And then when I was up, I was going to be on time if rushed, but it was complicated getting down here tonight. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so we'll see how long we can go for. But for the moment, hi, welcome to the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream for the 10th of February. That's the live stream where we have bevies, we have blades, and we usually talk about some bushcraft stuff. I was not prepared. Moving right along. If you're watching us shifted to tomorrow, next week, or whenever, thank you for doing that. I love knowing that there are people interacting with the content after the fact. And if you like what you're seeing here tonight, then I invite you to drop me a smiley thumb. If you really do not like what you're seeing here tonight, then I invite you to drop me a frowny thumb, because that works just as well. And if you would like to help keep that really bright light on tonight, as so many in the chat already have, then I invite you to investigate that. That's over here. Join button. Give it the old right click. Open it in another tab. Check out what... Sorry, a little dry throat here. Check out the 2 tiers of membership that are available to you for your hard-earned folding cash and what each tier gets you. So without further ado, I have nothing planned for tonight because it's been a bit of a rush this week. Let's get things off. That's more comfy. Makes me look more sleek. But yeah, I figure let's just chitty make chat. I was coming up with great questions to set as the premise, like today at lunchtime. And then I just didn't have time to set this up. And so I don't even remember them. I should really be writing that stuff down. Like, I can't tell you how often in a day, like, a thought will go pew into my head. And I'll be like, I'm going to write that down later. And then forget about it. But anyway. But they were going to be great. Yeah, sorry, Country Boy. No need for devastation. I am here. You are here. We're all here. I don't know what my 10 o'clock whiskey is. I don't know if I'm feeling well enough for a 10 o'clock whiskey. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Not quite, Chris. Almost. You guys posted at the exact same time at 9:03. I love that. Excuse me. Oh man, the sinuses, the throat. Oh well. There's Destiny popping in. Still has not updated that handle, that nickname, but that's okay. Saying hi to everyone except me, I see. Look at that. We got Mr. Mock in the place saying hi. Saying good evening, gentlemen. Although I will point out that Destiny is here. I'm going to tell her you said that. No, I'm not going to tell her. Secret. Destiny's got the charcuterie board ready. Nice. What's on that charcuterie board tonight? There we go. Warming the cockles of my heart. Oh, you're home for one night. How does that happen? Is it just because you're between like 2 trips and you had a night off and you just miraculously are home? Like, how does that beautiful thing come together? That sounds amazing. People is just saying hi. Is the mic off? It's not off. Allow me to check. No, we're good. I mean, it seems okay here. It seems okay here. Stereo audio. Okay, listen. Based on that question, go with me here, okay? This is with one setting, all right? I'm going to change the setting, like, right now. And does that sound different? Does it sound better or no? What do you guys think? I'm putting it back to the old way now. So which sounded better? Gonna go get you snacks. All right, Mr. Mock. Let us know what the snacks are for the night. Sound is cutting out. What the hell? Okay. So question. Okay, so this is the better sound, but is it cutting out? Hello. Hello. I'm just checking to see if I'm peaking because sometimes that sounds like you're cutting out, but I don't see any peaking. So what if I stay away from the mic? Is this better? Like, am I cutting out more like this? So is it better if I stay back a little bit? I am getting so tired of dealing with mic issues. This is like a $600 mic with a $100, 120, connection and everything to like a music box. An interface, a music interface. So this mic should be absolutely solid. I don't mean to show off the price of the mic. This was a gift. I would never have been able to. I am very happy to have it because it was like my dream mic for ever because this is a very old model of mic. And it's from the radio days, North American radio days. The British radio mic is different, slightly different sound. Very cool if you're someone who grew up like listen, this is the BBC. But I love this iconic mic, and when it's working well, I love the sound. I love sort of the rich voice you can get out of it. But like for that, you really have to be a lot closer. And I keep I need to have time to do a real deep dive on the settings and just sort of work this shift out. You know what I'm saying? Bum, 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 bum. No, it's on. In fact, it's always on. This mic is never off. There's no switch on it. You might be right about that, country boy. I think whiskey does make everything better. So I'll disinfect at 10 o'clock. Charles and Annie in the house. How are you doing? How's the weather down there? Oh, you're just passing through anyway to Miami. Okay. Speaking of which, how's the weather up here? It was like cold today, but a lot warmer than it's been. So right now it's -6. Yeah. High of -6, low of -13. It did snow quite a bit today, though. Not like epic, but it did snow. Yeah, so I worked from home today, even though I'm not supposed to on Tuesdays, because I am not feeling great. No, I'm not feeling like epically sick or anything. Oh, look at how messy that looks. I was going through my journals. I was looking for something and I realized I forgot to pack it all back up. Well, that's awkward. Yeah, it's not like I'm not epically sick or anything, just kind of I think it's a cold or something, and I just didn't want to spread it to my peeps at work. So I worked from home. Hey, Shawnee's here. How you doing? So, but no, seriously, like, how's the sound now, people? Ha, David, it's okay because I was late too. So it does sound different. Shite. Oh, I'm so tired of this. Like, I'm using a different browser than usual. No, no, I shut that one down. This is the usual browser. I didn't change my settings. I will now kill the Wi-Fi to lessen my chances of buffering to hell. Okay, but Russell said it sounded a bit. Oh yeah, this is when I was playing with the two switches. Country Boy says, "There you go." Okay, so now we're doing better. Okay, all right. So that was weird. So all I had to do, it's like I'm working in Windows or something. I turned the sound setting off and then back on, and the mic's doing better. It's like set up by Microsoft. Oh, it doesn't work? Just stop, shut it down and restart her, and it'll just magically rearrange itself. I'm like, okay. Charcuterie tonight. The charcuterie of ce soir is soft molasses cookies. I know those very well. Thyme tea. Okay. Warm, fresh bread with butter. Okay. A few cheeses. Broccoli cheddar soup for dipping. Yeah, man. I do love a broccoli soup. My mom gave me a bunch of broccoli soups, like frozen, for my lunches, and I'm like, yep, okay. So I do on occasion make myself a grilled cheese to celebrate. Excuse me. Beto's here. How you doing? How are things down there on this night of nights? Are you in a different time zone than me, Beto? I just thought of that now because I just assumed straight down must be the same time zone, but it's not straight down, is it? Like, what time is it where you are? Right now, for me, it's 9:17 p.m. What if I was not online and talking to people from outside Quebec? I would say it's 21:17, 21:18 now. So what time is it? If it's 21:18 for me here, Beto, what time is it for you? Mike is fine except when I turn my head away from it. So, like, if I'm trying to talk to you guys like this, it's not so great. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? That's not surprising because this mic is designed for like radio people to be stuck right to it and like almost on top of it, to get the full effect that the mic can give you. You're supposed to be like really up on it, the best of Bay Area sounds on Jesse FM. Welcome to CKUT 90.3 on your FM dial. Man, I haven't listened to CKUT in a long time. What's the American version of radio stations? Because like here, they're all CFNY, CJKC, CFly, right? CFLY, CFLI, CKUT, which is CCUT. But there's something W, because I just WKRP in Cincinnati. So it's wait. There are two down there, right? Depending on like there's a river or something that separates, and on one side they're all W, and on the other side they're all something else. Am I like something just shot into my brain from back when I was in university, communication studies, specializing in film production. But like your first year, everyone does TV and radio and film and propaganda, or I mean communications theory, but a lot of that is studying, propaganda. So that was some stream of conscious discourse. Sorry about that, people. Oh, it's so much fun being me. I said hi to Steve, right? Steve Grounds. Excuse me. Oh no, Marcus in the house. Happy Tuesday to you too, Marcus. How are you feeling? How are things going? I'm like, I'm feeling a little under the weather, and then Marcus pops in. Dude, don't tell me about feeling like. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're on the mend. David likes Russell's mic with the red tuck tape. Very classy. It is a very classy look for sure. Russell's popping in with a very typically Russell greeting. Hello, my friendly fruits. Hope you're all staying warm, slippery, and fun slides. Okay. Yikes. I don't know if that's not safe for work or not. Destiny says BRB. She's probably going to get a refill on that charcuterie board. I saw that, Country Boy. I saw that, but I didn't, because they did this thing where they've created like 3 different kinds of mods now. So I wonder if, sorry. So I wonder if that wrench is still there for one of the other kinds of mods. I haven't explored what the different kinds of mods are at all. So I'm wondering if it's something like that. But yeah. David likes him some tuck tape. He feels it's useful, especially on mics, I think. Oof, almost 27 in Florida. That's warmer than here for sure. I'm sort of looking. Russell says unto Country Boy that we are no longer a force, we are a protective service. I don't know what you guys are talking to each other about. I get it. I get it. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Talking about that little shield shield icon. David's really into his tuck tape, evidently. I should go and buy some. And then next live stream I'll be like, David, look what I got. Russell also loves him some tuck tape. Keeps a big roll in his pants pocket. So that's what that was. Shawnee says, wild heat wave coming to Minnesota this week. There's a sickness in my kids this week. Let's hope I don't get it. Yep. Man, a lot of people sick. A lot of people home from work today at my office. Either working from home or just like clocked off. There's Mr. Homie Omi. How you doing, mister? Homie, one day I'd like to hear of like the various knives and tools and stuff you have. Like, I mean, if you wanted to do a YouTube short or something about this, not saying that for any reason other than might be fun. Like, because you got some really nice stuff. I'd love to know of your stuff what's your favorite, what's cool but kind of won't come out to the woods with you, and if there's anything that you regret buying. I mean, if you were looking for something to make a video about. Slowly getting better. I love hearing that. I like it. Even slowly getting better is better than not getting better. You're sick too? Got on the cruise? I hope it's nothing too serious. You're having turmeric ginger tea. Celebrated your 15-year wedding anniversary yesterday. Wow, that's cool. That's all right. The anniversary of my first date with the missus is 14th of February. $24 years ago. It's okay. I'm feeling under the weather, but I don't like giving up on the Tuesday night live stream. I said when I started that, we might not go the whole 2 hours. Like if I start to then I'll be like, okay, time out. Let's meet up again next week. But for now, I would like to do the streaming and have the conversations Sorry, I'm just getting a ding. I got a notification from YouTube that popped up on my phone. I'm like, okay. And it's to a post from a channel called Mia's Digital Diary. Good morning, friends. I'm planning my upcoming content calendar. What would the people like to see? As always, feel free to drop specific ideas, but like, why am I getting a notification about that? I want notifications if, say, Shawnee's going live in a half hour, Russell's going live in a half hour, like timely stuff. I don't give a what? Productivity light high, stay a semblance of organized. Okay, so I just voted, but still, I didn't need a notification. It's like, anyways, whatever. Whatever. Have I caught up yet? Nope. 8 o'clock in Florida. It's weird because in my head, Florida is directly under Quebec, but it's not. Like now that I'm actually thinking about a map, it's not at all. So like 8 o'clock, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. In fact, I'm wondering if Beto is around that as well. I'm just sort of scrolling down to see hold on. Marcus says, finally above freezing here. It's supposed to be around freezing all week. So much better than what it's been. Man, we're not going to see above freezing in Montreal for a good while yet. Like it ain't going to be this week. Although it was like -6 today. So that's pretty close. That's pretty close to wonderful. Yeah, tomorrow actually. Wow, okay. So like tomorrow, high of -3, low of -8. That's much more balmy. Then on Thursday, high of -4, low of -12. Then -5, -14, -3, -12, 4, -4, -14. But then on Monday, high of 1 degree and a low of -10. Tuesday, high of 0. Oh, and then we go back to the minuses. So I mean, I'm like, it's not going to be above freezing for a while yet. Oh no, actually, next Monday it'll be above freezing. Okay. Beto is preparing to install a solar system for a client, waiting for the heat wave to pass. Okay. I love it. I'm like, NPA radio in the US? What is NPA radio? Oh no, it just jumped back again. I was like, I've been reading these questions earlier tonight. Why do you do this to me, you awful machine? Because now I have no idea where the hell I was. Just let me sort of skip on down. Marcus is asking Peanut Sugar, how long is his next adventure? I believe he said it's tomorrow. That's an interesting question. Where is Christy tonight? Because Steve is here. Duct tape for PM. Why are you guys? I just jumped again. Why do you do this to me, you fucking machine? I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up, but I have no idea what people are saying. Okay, 20 in Florida. Okay, 20 o'clock. Yeah. Finally, about freezing here. So it's the third time I'm seeing that. Preparing to install a solar panel. NPA radio in the US. Hey there, Chris. How are you doing? Fitzy again is be right back. Chris, doing good. Hanging out. That was perfect. Tuck tip to get the AT out of the snow again. What the hell? Okay. This is awful. I mean, I pay for this technology, peoples. I like Russell's mic with the red tuck tape. I mean, it just keeps going back. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom. If I've missed anything, sorry, but I'm getting frustrated and I don't feel well enough to be kind of funny about it. Homie, that's a good idea, Jess. I do have a small knife story to tell. Make the episode, man. I want to hear it. When you delete a chat message, it still shows up on the screen. I did not know that. I guess it makes sense. Like this, you're talking about this scrolling thing rather than that, right? Below Alabama is Central Time. Eastern Time starts 40 miles east of you. The Florida Panhandle is Central Time. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, I get it. I see that. David is typing on his phone. Needs a lesson from Marcus. I hate watching lives on my phone because you can't at people. I mean, you can, but you have to like, you can't just sort of say hit at and then M and have Marcus, pop up, or anyone who starts with an M pop up. I have to, and because of dyspraxia, I cannot get the damn name properly. I have to try it 3 times, and then by the time I post my comment to so and so, other people have posted. So it's like, or as Russell says, when I'm typing on my phone, it's like I have 15 thumbs and they're all thumbs. Yeah. Hi, good Mike in the house. How are you doing, Mr. Mike? I hope you're doing all right. You got to run down to Miami, so that's tomorrow, I guess. Be back home Friday until next Wednesday. So you're getting some time home. That's nice. I like that. Oh, NPR. Yeah. Yeah, we get NPR up here as well. I mean, obviously it's not broadcast from up here. But like we have a national public broadcaster that, we pay for it through our taxes. That's not always that doesn't have to fundraise or anything like that. Some really good shows on NPR for sure. Some great shows on the CBC as well, but CBC ain't what it used to be. Years and years of cuts have really, that used to be an absolutely world-class service. Now it's still got its moments, but Destiny misses incandescent light bulbs. Got to buy some online. She loved that glow. I hated living in a house full of incandescent lights in Montreal summer, right? Because they do have an effect on the heat. But in the winter, especially if you don't have perfectly sealed windows, it would be nice to have a house full of incandescent lights. I mean, they don't make a huge difference. We're talking about like 1 degree or something, but yeah, I don't miss them. I don't miss them at all. Not to sound like a neurodivergent cliche, but I can't have the big light on, like the ceiling light. I can't have that on. So the difference between incandescent and LED isn't as strong for me because I'm Mr. Lamp, right? For me, it's all lamps all the time. If I'm standing in the kitchen and I've got like this, lights on over the stove, we have these under cabinet lighting, and then there are two of the sort of Edison bulbs hanging over the return on the bar. I have those on. I'm perfectly happy. Someone walks in and slams the big light on. I feel aggressed, which is apparently very common with for people with my particular disability. Charles, I understand some issues here. Yeah, absolutely. Destiny says we have the LED and incandescent in two side by side lights in the basement. Wow, what a difference! Yeah, they don't look the same at all. And there is a warmth to the light of an incandescent light that I'm sorry, that I will admit was nice because you can get much warmer LEDs now than you could before. But you're right; it sure as hell doesn't hit that same sweet spot. I'm skipping right across David's comment here. David the Instigator is thinking of changing his name to David the Huit Disturbor. I back that concept. Russell is thinking of starting a new YouTube channel. It's going to be like all butt man all the time. Is that it? Fitzy's getting hopeful. Ray and friends. Just Ray all the time. Charles and Annie. What will the channel contain? Just Ray. Ray working out, Ray doing yoga, Ray building spaceships, Ray solving world crisis. If Ray's building spaceships, I'll watch that for sure. Destiny likes lamplight as well. The overheads rarely go on at your place. Yeah, the missus, she always her whole family, they've always got that big awful central light on, and I don't get it. Homie bought 2 knives this week, and you're about to buy one right now, but that's going to be it for a while on knives. You have a lot of knives. A lot of very cool knives, and very different from the stuff that I tend to buy. Like it's interesting looking at your at the stuff you buy. Like you have a very pronounced preference, and it's very different from my preference. Um, that being said, you've shown me a couple of knives now that I'd be like, yeah, I'd buy that. Russell's first drink went down like bad medicine. I hope it doesn't come back up like bad medicine. Destiny likes Russell's content idea. Well, you guys gotta wreck my soul. Slam that thumbs up. It's because you think I'm boring. It's because you don't like it when I'm not feeling well. Is that it? Even though I'm heroically here anyway, putting in the effort, being interactive. Speaking of interactive, Canadian corn whiskey or Scotch? What are we doing at 10 o'clock, people? I'm going to turn that into a poll. See if I remember how to do that. Interact with your audience. Engage with your audience. Sorry. Start a poll. Tonight. Tonight's whiskey is Canadian corn whiskey, Scotch, 10-year-old Scotch. No, except I will change all those typos. There we go. I will leave that up. It is now 21:42. I will leave that up until 21:50. Because if we go for the Scotch at 21:50, I should be popping the cork. Somebody tells me. Somebody let me know when we're at 50. Now, come on. The Ray's keeping fit and looking well for his. He is. He's a fine looking dude. Just let me get the bottles out of the way so I can keep seeing the actual content that you guys are dropping. David just installed 6 LED recessed lights in the living room. Pat made me go out and buy a dimmer switch. Dimmer switch is really useful. Like we have one on our dining room table light because you know you got to be able to dim them lights sometimes. Especially so the lights over my cooktop, my stove top. I mean, I don't know what you call it when you've got like a cooktop and then the oven is on the other wall, but it's nice that those have level settings because if I have them on full, like I usually have the light on full there. If I'm in the morning and I'm doing my stuff and the sun's not up yet. Just as an aside, I fucking hate being up before the sun. I don't care what time the sun comes up. I don't want to be up before it. So the winter months are hard on me because I have to be up before the sun. And to me, dark outside means this. You know what I'm saying? How the hell did I get on that? What was I? Oh, because a dimmer switch, right? Hey, Jim. See y'all in about 30. Fine. Safe drive. And see you a little later. I know, Russell. I know what you meant. What was it, by the way? What are you drinking tonight? What's the drink tonight? David says, unto Destiny, did you know Ray and I are twins? All right. I love it. I'm the Danny DeVito twin. I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. And now I know. And it was worth it. Oh, Russell doesn't like that. That's my joke. I didn't even know that. And Destiny is, I think, voting for the 10-year-old Scotch. Sorry. In a post sort of Diddy and Epstein world, I can't say 10-year-old without feeling the need to contextualize. Marcus says, agreed on the sun part in winter. Yeah, it's awful. It's really tough on my soul. Like he needs a name. I have never named my blankies. But I will say unto you that if I'm looking for a blanket, it must have this stuff on it. Like especially like soft, satiny. Although that's how dry my hands are. That sound that Russell complains about, that is, my hands are so dry that it's got all these little, like, if I just, right? It's awful. Mr. Comfortapagus. That's pretty good, actually. That's not bad. You know what? I have not yet said is that tea is a good drink. This cup has been with me a long time. I got this cup when I was working at Starbucks. And it is like the print is coming off, but it's a local one because that stamp right there is what at a Quebec Starbucks is called Mount Royal Blend, and outside Quebec it's something different. But I got this cup for free because there's a typo on it somewhere, so they decided they couldn't sell it. But that's like a quarter century ago. Country Boy is up before the sun, no matter what the season. You like watching the sun come up. If I was camping, I would find that glorious. But if I'm running around like a fart in a windstorm trying to get the missus's coffee on breakfast for the kids, school uniform for the young one, the old one does her own bloody uniform, and lunch. But if I'm doing my morning stuff, I can't take the time to stop and stare at the window and gosh wow at the sunrise. Now, if I lived on a hillside over, say, I don't know, the Burrard Inlet, I would probably stand there and stare at the sun coming up. Big picture glass windows. Man, I remember my stepbrother, half brother. So, my brother had a girlfriend in West Vancouver, kind of up, not quite the British properties, but like sort of up those hills. And I remember walking into her place once. He and I had gone to pick her up for something. Like, front door didn't lead into a hall. It was one of those sort of Western Canada open places, right? Door opens into like there's sort of a kitchen area. There's a living room at the back wall, and the world's widest picture window, and just right over the inlet, with the freighters and the tanker. Freighters, right? It wasn't tankers going into Vancouver Harbor, right? Freighters there, sea bus skipping across the waves. So I was like, that's a living room I would never leave. I would just sit there. I'd put a desk at that window and stare out it, and then just let the words flow, and I would become a famous author just based on that view. The creativity, the sparking, the firing of neurons on the brain of like how this beautiful view can turn into words on the page, staining pages, as Leonard Cohen used to say. Now, it took Leonard Cohen forever to write anything at all. He used to keep it, his work on top of the fridge. But for him, writing was tearing it from his soul. Kind of the opposite of like a Stephen King character. I don't know how I ended up on this. Tea's a good drink. Country Boy, what was it you said? We're at 2150, so let's stop the poll. End poll. View poll. Canadian corn whiskey is 45%. 10-year-old Scotch is 55%. I saw a TikTok that was a segment of an interview with the man who created these glasses. Because the Glencairn owns the market for whiskey tasting glasses. Okay, like this is a tasting glass. You're not really supposed to use it for just enjoying. It's designed for nosing, and then taking sips it's not a great glass for just sitting back and enjoying a whiskey with a friend, because in order to take a sip, if I'm talking to you and I'm trying to take a sip, I have to break eye contact. Whereas something like just a tumbler or whatever, you can sort of sip while you're talking to each other without. It's easy to forget that the Glencairn hasn't been around forever. Here's the whiskey, by the way. It's the Aaron 10. Now, this is an old bottle. It's a terrible design. I hate it. It's like this label design says 1994 to me. I'm trying to get my face out of the way so it'll. But the whiskey is very good. The new bottle design is fabulous. And the whiskey remained fabulous. I'm usually very skeptical of a redesign of the liveries on a bottle, because that's expensive, and sometimes it comes with them changing up the formula a bit to make it a little more mass market to make that money back. But Aaron did not do that. I'm very happy about that, because it's just magical stuff. He said, putting it back down because it's not 10 o'clock yet. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Country boys, you like watching the sun come up? Yeah. Tea's a good drink. Ginger with zinc tonight. Ginger with zinc? So, you mean you added zinc? Or it's a zinc enhanced ginger tea? Because David is sick, he's having blueberry lavender tea. That sounds downright horrible. I'm someone who doesn't like his teas to be too fruity or too floral. I like some green teas. I love a jasmine tea. I adore a peppermint tea. I like a Moroccan mint or something like that as well. But man, peppermint, there's just something a little wintry about it. I love something like Lapsang Souchong, the smoked tea. Lapsang, I think, is smoked over using pine wood, or like Russian Caravan or gunpowder, or those sort of smoky. Love that. And just plain black tea. But I don't like anything too fruity. Like I don't want an orange ginger or a lemon zinger. Actually, I might be okay with a lemon tea. And I do not like chamomile. Nope. I understand the herbology reason for drinking chamomile tea, right? You take some and it tones you down, but I don't like the flavor of it. I'm just going to keep talking about this if we don't shut that down. So I'm just going to move right along. But yeah, I feel bad for you. Oh, that was me. Jim says, you would be totally jealous of my view. Every morning I see the sun come up over Lake Huron looking towards Ontario, and I see a lighthouse on the end of a point. What I would love for you to do, Jim, is do this of that view and send it to me, because I'm trying to imagine what that looks like. And it sounds amazing. Sounds like, yeah, it sounds fabulous. Country Boy says, bring your family to the wet coast, Jess. It would do you all a world of good, and you'd be a famous writer. Part of me really wants to do that. We ain't going to even think about that until my kids are both old enough that the bilingualism is absolutely solid. Because I know that in the vast majority of this country, if Camille walks into a job interview and can handle English and French, the local kid going for the same job is in trouble, and I want Clem to be able to do the same thing. Like, we're trying to get Camille to explore working at like a national park in the summer. She can work at any national park. She's less outdoorsy now because she's about makeup and boys and her hair, but I mean, she still has underneath it that, if I say, hey, can you light this fire? She'll still happily run over. And I would like to get her on Flint and Steel. she failed at it enough times that she was like, nope. I would still like to get her on flint and steel, but she's pretty damn good with a ferro rod. But like slightly outdoorsy, bilingual as hell, bright kid. What a great way to make your money during the summer, right? At a like national park somewhere, or even a provincial park in most provinces, you know. And also, we can't afford a house, even though the madame and I make. She makes twice what I make, solid, and I already make a pretty good salary. But I don't want to spend that kind of money on a house. You know, we'd have to live out in practically at golden years or something. You know. But yeah, I would love it. Great city. My dad's mother-in-law was an author. They've got a good literary scene out there still, you know. But yeah, that'd be nice. Grace Waven, how you doing, Grace? Nice to see you. Yeah, Destiny, I think so too. That sounds great. Hey, there's Marcel. How you doing, Marcel? I hope you're doing well tonight. Tea, nectar of the gods. No, nectar of the dogs. Sorry. And I still don't know what Russell's drinking tonight. I have asked several times, and he's completely ignoring me, hurting my feelings. Hurting my feelings. Mugwort tea, never gotten full on trip. Oh, I've never even thought about mugwort tea. Grace thinks that flint and steel is easy. It's funny. So I have my very, very first attempt at flint and steel on video. It was the first video on my channel, I think, and it went, and it worked. I was like, "Whoa, this is easy." And that rapidly became known in my head as an excellent case of beginner's luck because I really did struggle with it a bit. Like some people just can't get it to work. Other people are just like snap, fire, snap, fire. For me, there was a learning curve. But I mean, I've told you, you guys have heard me wax poetic about flint and steel often enough that I ain't going to do it now. But it was worth it. I really love that fire starting method. Absolutely, my favorite. Russell says, we've been dealing with the non-real Grace Martin all this time. I feel cheated. I feel naked and afraid. Oh, medication reminder. It's okay. I'm skipping that until later. I do use char cloth, yeah. Yeah. I have significantly less luck if I'm not using char cloth. That's for sure. Even, you know, still today. Even sometimes with a ferro rod, I have a hard time if I'm not using. I mean, I very rarely use char cloth with a ferro rod, but sometimes if I'm having a rough time, I throw down a piece and I start with that, you know. Yes, I did open the whiskey, David. Right there. Oh, I haven't had any yet. It's 22 right now. Want some notes? B flat. Is that an E? No, it's an F. Yeah. Okay, jazz. Brown sugar, vanilla, caramel, so American oak. Woodiness there. A touch of like a furniture polish or a leather. Dusty old books. It's cozy. That's on the schnoz, on the tongue, on the palate, as they say. Beautiful mouthfeel. Syrupy, not too much. Syrupy. Kind of a treacle or a table syrup. It becomes more vanilla, more caramel. That brown sugar turns kind of into a creme brulee thing. You know that thing where you sprinkle sugar and then you take a little a baker's torch to it. Touch of espresso at the back. Big oak. Some spice, like a baking spice, not like cinnamon, like maybe more like a nutmeg, and little green apple, maybe a lemon drop, as it sort of as it trails off the finish. Yep, very nice. It's a very good scotch. Russell says, I'm barely paying attention. I'm drinking Gibson's Finest Rare 12. Okay, classic choice for you. No, I'm worried about this barely paying attention, though. I mean, as a dedicated follower of Books Fest, I require the same kind of dedication. It's okay. How many drams are you on tonight? Is that Gibson's Finest sort of like your go-to now? I feel like you didn't ever have it at one point, and then it sort of started showing up. I think you can buy that Gibson's in like a 1 liter, can't you? Am I remembering that right? Am I remembering that right? Yeah, it's a fine choice. My son's been drinking CBD THC sparkling waters lately. I really like those. I have never even heard of such a thing. I mean, it's probably available around here, but I just never heard of it. Country Boy says, see, whiskey makes everything better. Bourbon makes everything exceptional. I do miss bourbon. Although some of those bourbon analogs that we've had make me miss bourbon a whole lot less. This weekend, I believe, the SAQ is selling off all of its remaining American alcohols and giving the money to charity. PI and Newfoundland have done the same. I believe Ontario is planning the same thing, or maybe it's BC. So if I had any money, I would buy a whole bunch of bottles this weekend. Oh, yummy. You guys will love this. I just discovered real maple syrup this year. Wow, really? You've been on Log Cabin and Mrs. Butterworth your whole life. Okay, well, that's a better financial decision than maple syrup for sure, even here in Quebec. But there is just no substitute. Well, welcome to the Maple Syrup Club. I mean, I hope you liked it. Every now and again, someone's like, what is that? I'm like, dude, that's maple syrup. And you're talking to a Quebecer, so watch your freaking. Oh, right. It's the 1.5. It's the 1.75 liter bottle shaped. Yeah. In the States, they call that a handle because it's got the handle built in. Like if someone says, I want a handle of something, that's what they're talking about. Congrats on discovering the real thing, says Country Boy. Absolutely. Yeah. I've never heard anyone call that a handle up here, though. You know what I just reminded myself of with that little line of discourse? I remember when the 2 liter pop bottles first appeared. Everyone, at least everyone in Montreal, in Anglo Montreal, called that a bomb. Jesse, can you run out and buy me a bomb of Coke? It was the 2 liter. Nobody calls it a bomb anymore. Yes, I haven't heard it in a long, long time. In fact, that's so long ago that I was probably being sent to the store for a bomb of Kick Cola. Because Low income. They don't make Kick anymore, I don't think. If I ever saw a bottle of Kick, I would buy it just for old time's sake, just to see if, because I don't remember. I do not remember how it tastes. We used it for two things. Well, one, drinking, and I guess the parents at that point would have used it for like a whiskey cola or something. But it and Coke, but Coke is more expensive. Very good for polishing your hat brass on your uniform. Drop it in, let it sit for about a half hour. It'll come out sparkling. Then you got to wash it off because otherwise it gets sticky. But that's why I stopped drinking Coke, by the way. I was like, wow, this stuff is like Brasso on my hat brass. What's it doing inside of me? So I stopped drinking that. Just let me look something up. Just let me learn how to type. Fuck. Oop, I mean funk. Funk. Play that funky music, white boy. Royal Canadian Air Cadets wear a cap brass on their wedge hat. It's just called a wedge. But I'm looking for the brass. I wanted to show a picture of the brass so you guys would know what I'm talking about dropping into a. There it is. There it bees. Hold on. I will share the picture with yous. I will share. Because I feel like I've just share in 1080p. Yes. Auto add screen or video to stream. Let's try that. I have not seen that before. So let me choose the screen. Screen. Oh, fuck. Allow. Yes, allow. Oh, why are you so stupid? Oh, wow. Okay. So they saved me a mouse click. So yeah, this is the hat brass that I would polish. Now this wedge is blue, and I was a cadet long enough ago that mine was green. Hmm. What? Who the hell has an embroidered hat brass? Man, my knowledge is 30 years out of date. But anyways, so yeah, I would I had that. That's an instructor's badge. So yeah, I would drop that into there we are. I would drop what a terrible picture. Drop that into the Coke, leave it there for a half hour, be polished right up. And my screen share. The handle, I think that's just called a 175 or something. I mean, look, it's possible that it's called a handle, but I don't live in English Canada. So there's a whole lot of real basic, like, cultural Canadian terms that you never hear in Anglo Montreal, you know? I mean, you'll hear a 2-4 here, but, what's the other word for a 2-4? What the hell's the other word for a 2-4? I don't know, but, like, there's a whole lot of stuff, so it might be called a handle in BC and Ontario and Alberta. It probably is called a handle in Alberta, or whatever, but just not here, you know? I see a message from Homie, I think. Russell says to Homie, "When you've never had the real thing, that's like smoking weed your whole life and discovering heroin." I wouldn't have gone there. Loved it. Looks like a whiskey bottle. Oh yeah, it comes in that little the little sort of the Mickey kind of thing. Yeah. Creme brulee, yeah. I do love a creme brulee every now and again. What's a Twixer? Is that a 12 pack, a Twixer? New photo? Oh yeah. If I click on it, nope. Photo. I'm trying to like not have your name up here. So if I hold on to that, interesting. Okay, so if I press the screen and hold on to it, it will not show your name. Except I need to cover my face. So there we go. Grade A, yeah. So that is probably from Vermont. I'm trying to show the photo again, but it's not. That's probably from like Vermont, or who else does go maple syrup down there? Oh, in BC, a 26-ounce bottle is a Twixer. Okay, for 2 6er. Okay, got it. But like a 2-4 is a 24 pack of beer here in English Quebec anyway. Twixer, I like that. I like that. So I'm getting distracted by all these hat brass pictures. I was just sort of reminiscing because when I retired from the cadets at 18, I just missed being switched back to the blue uniforms. Because what happened was in 60, David will know this, is it 68 or earlier, 65, something like that, they unified all the forces into the Canadian Armed Forces. So like the Royal Canadian Air Force, Royal Canadian Navy, and the Canadian Army were just all, like Army became Mobile Operations Command, the Air Force became Air Operations Command, and the Navy became Maritime Operations Command. But they were all like one. They still are, but they when they did this in the 60s, they scrapped all the environmental uniforms. So like the Navy was no longer wearing black or white. The Air Force was no longer wearing. Everyone wore whatever the Canadian Army's green is called, rifle green or something, and a beret. Everyone, which was apparently causing Air Force units trouble in Europe because getting into the officers' mess, you needed your dress blues or something, and they didn't have blues. This is all. Who cares? But then finally in like the 90s, I guess, they started going back um, to their environmental colors and stuff, and the air cadets got blue uniforms just as I left. I saw the first blue uniform show up like my last week, and I was like, Sea cadets always had a black tunic. All three have this same design of tunic and pants and everything. Headdress is different. Sea cadets have sort of a more sailor like shirt and everything, but yeah. So I missed out on the blue. David says West Pender is where all the Twixers hang out in BC. Not talking about the same thing, dude. Apparently a 40 ounce is called a 40 pounder. I think I've heard that. It does say the product of Canada. Okay, interesting. Okay. I just assumed that. So it's very likely from Quebec then. Good to I will not go downtown, so I wouldn't know. And of course, all Canadians know what a Mickey is. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Man, I really wanted to start tonight off with one of my questions, like with a banger of a question. I think that the last one where I was asking, like, what's your sort of outdoorsy theme song? I think that that was a good question. Those of you who did engage with it, which was not everyone, there was some cool chansons coming out of that. I don't remember what I wanted to start tonight off with, which was the problem. Because A, I was rushing, and B, I'd forgotten because I didn't write down the frickin' I mean, I carry these notebooks around specifically so that, "Oh, write it down." Sucks to be me. On my Instagram, somewhere I have a picture of me in cadets, like, I have this huge trophy, and I had just gotten promoted, so I have, like, my, sergeant stripes, I think, on the table behind me. I wonder what that guy would think of seeing me now. You guys ever think that? Like, what would you of 16 think of you of 40? You ever am I the only one who has these stupid thoughts, or do you guys all sort of have some variant of that? By the way, country boy, my wife was in Vancouver 2 months ago for work, and she was exploring and did sort of end up going into sort of the seedier part of downtown. So she hightailed it out of there because that part of downtown Vancouver is rough. But most of downtown's not that bad. It's just that segment there. Um, I sent her to all the places I used to go to all the time back when that was my stomping grounds. I used to love hanging out over in Gastown, hanging out. Um, there were a couple of really good sort of native galleries, sort of near where the clock is in Gastown. There was this one place, I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was called the Spirit Wrestler Gallery. And man, I would go in there and just admire the pieces. I have my entire life felt that I will have known that I've made it when I can walk into a gallery and just buy a piece. Like, to me, a piece of art on the wall, and maybe that's because I spent my whole life in art school, and I was apprenticed to, like, one of my mother's cousins who was a professional painter for a long time and who had studied under one of the very big name Quebec painters in his own youth. He had been apprenticed. But to me, if I can walk into a gallery and say, "Can you deliver that one?" I mean, I will never be the type who doesn't bother looking at the price, and I wouldn't want to walk in and fall for something that's like 10 grand, but, a few thousand bucks, you know, uh, I dream of that freedom because I value art. I don't talk about it and I don't look like a guy who values art, but I really do. I would love to have something absolutely original on my wall. So, yeah, even as a kid, I used to love looking in the galleries. Now, as a teenager, I got unallowed from walking into galleries because I guess people just think teenager equals trouble, and dude, I'm not that interesting, but, um, yeah, especially those native, galleries. He said, with a Haida Orca T-shirt on, because the Haida Orca is magic to me. Orca being one of my top 3 animals, and Haida specifically being my favorite art form of all. I may need another one of those just to keep me going, because the whiskey does dull the burn of the sore throat and everything. Country Boy says I'm a special boy. It's part of my charm. Now, do you mean that in a short bus kind of way? Because I don't know if that's you being nice or you just sort of, digging the knife in. The downtown east side is expanding. Is it? So part of the reason I popped this is because of where it is. I've had this bottle for a long time. And I realized that I need to bottle it down, because it will be tragic if this bottle goes bad. I often wonder what's the best way for me to start one of these episodes. Like, if I have, a really good question lined up and I just start with that, bam. Or if it's better if I just sort of, hey guys, what do you want to talk about? I mean, I see that there's room for both of those on my channel for sure. I feel that sometimes I have what I consider to be a great question, and like 4 people engage with it, and everyone else kind of does. I'm like, okay, that was the wrong question. Let me come up with something better next time. I also wish that there was a more holistic kind of interaction that we could do here, because I feel that if I ask a question like that, it'd be so much better if you could just sort of say, "Oh yeah," rather than typing it or whatever. But like I don't. Every time I've had no. Sometimes when I try to have a guest on with this technology, it takes forever to get it to work, which is why whenever I have a guest on, I do a faux, like a mock stream a day or two before, like 5 minutes, just to knock the cogs into place. And I think that having like a live stream with 9 people on screen would be a nightmare, because you can't pass a talking stick around digitally. You cannot stop, if you want to speak, ask for the stick kind of thing. You can't really do that with a live stream. That would be funny though. That would be great. If you had like 9 people on and have like a digital stick, and someone like raises their hand for the stick and you pass it to them. Yes, you may speak now. Um, Marcel laughed at one of us, and I don't know if it's Country Boy or if it's me. I know it's one of us. I know it's either Country Boy or it's me. I'm used to being laughed at. It's like I'm back in high school. Just loves Haida art. Sounds like a carved and painted leather project. I have upstairs a mask on the wall of the solarium. It's a frog. It's not Haida style. It's in the Chalnoth, but my dad carved it. Now my dad's white. But it's not cultural appropriation, because when he carved it, he was in a carving group run by by Norman Tate, who was an Achalnoth carver, and anyone could join, but it was like, we are doing a mask, and they did the mask. And after my dad left the group, well, he was moving to Penticton and stuff, he sort of branched out from that and did other things. But while he was in that group, he did some nice native style stuff. He did a bowl that he gave my sister that lovely. It's got a frog on one side and a something on the other. The frog was him showing appreciation for the province of his birth and where his kids lived. You're just as special. We are all special. We're all in the same short bus. Not in a window liquor kind of way. Good to know. Because Christy's not here, I am number one. Where is Christy? What's going on with Christy? As Russell apparently is also asking. Oh, it was me asking if it was a short bus kind of way. All right. Oh, you have First Nations extended family. That's cool. That's very cool. It's like when I used to hunt with two Mohawk guys because my wife's the partner of her mom. Like they're not married. He's not like her stepdad or anything, but he does fill that role. He's Mohawk from Ganasatage. And it can be frustrating being a white guy hunting with two native guys because they can do things that I'm not allowed to do, but they never did because they were hunting with a white guy. So I kind of felt like I must be being a drag, but they were never judgmental about it or anything. I used to like hunting. I just used to like being in the woods. I liked hanging with those guys. I like being in the woods. I really do. You do most of your hunting with native friends, okay? So you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm trying to fight the urge to get expository about this whiskey again. I mean, we've already done that tonight. Just leave it alone. Raspberry Rock has never hunted native people. I think there's a word missing there. Please tell me there's a word missing there. Yes. Oh, thank the gods. I was like, I'm shutting this down right now. David's going to try hunting with tuck tape. Okay. Homie is enjoying the show. Oh, it's getting so surreal. I'm just trying to figure out a way to reseat the rest of the live stream, and like everything is dangerous now. Everything's like triple entendre. I got to cut my hair. This is awful. But yeah, no, I really do miss hunting. I was no good at it. But I enjoyed being there. I need to renew my license. You remember, like right now. I mean, it's until May, but the price goes up in March. So, ad. Who's got an ad? Destiny has an ad. Who else has an ad? Russell pictures David running through the woods like a gazelle, pouncing on a wild elk, taping him to a maple tree that produces syrup for homie. Do it for homie. I don't know where this is all coming from, Russell, but it's great. I've been so I think I've mentioned this to you guys. Like I have TikTok. I have 3, but I only use 1 and I'm going to cancel the other 2. But I have the algorithm honed so that what I get is book talk, writers, whiskey, cocktails, journaling, fountain pens, math. And what Russell just said about the picture David and all that, somehow that reminded me of something I was going to say about that. And it's gone. Oh, well, never mind. I will say, though, that a month ago, Camille showed me one dance that she was trying to learn and totally raw dogged my algorithm with one video. So I've been working to get all the damn dancing belly shirts off my phone ever since. Skip. Yeah, I like that too. So good. So good. Sorry, I'm just enjoying that taste. Love and life. That's bombastic. I wouldn't go that far. But I'm enjoying the taste. Was that like a fluff? Did you guys see that? Anyway. Dude, says, Russell, you make me sound so gracious. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's a dying gazelle. Stumbling. Tripping on a branch. Careening headlong through the forest. In a gazelle-like fashion. Gazelles are not forest animals. They're like plains animals. So maybe not the forest. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's not so graceful because it's in the forest. Like, why the hell am I in this forest? I need a grassland. What's going on here? I'm a gazelle. I'm not a deer. I'm not a whitetail. I'm not a mule deer. I'm not an elk. I'm not a reindeer. I'm not a caribou. I'm not a moose. I'm not a yak. Well, okay, yaks are not forest either. I'm not a buffalo. They're kind of plains anyway, so never mind. I'm not a fox. I'm running out of ungulates that live in the forest, so I'm just going to move right along here. Do we all have to mount an elk to do it for homing? No, that's fine. We don't have to mount an elk. I don't have any elk around me anyway, so I would be dropping the ball. That was almost single entendre, and I just stumbled into it, like David stumbling through the forest in his gazelle-like fashion. You can buy camouflage. We're back to the tuck tape. Yeah, let's not go that far, Mr. Russell. When did this live stream go off the rails? When? And how do you get it back on the rails? I don't think you can at this point. I don't think you can. I think it's wrecked. Wrecked, I say. So I'm just gonna like show a knife. See there, back on the bushcrafty stuff. And I'm gonna close that because I've got alcohol happening. Anyway, I don't remember where I was going. I'm at a loss here, people. A loss. Country Boy says, putting a train back on the rails ain't easy. That's true. They're very heavy. And they're very unwieldy. I forgot to show that on the screen. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. David, I'm not putting that on my screen. Ain't gonna happen. Oh, it is on my screen. It's right there. Tabernacle. I'm like, I'm not putting that on my screen. Beep. Oh, fuck. Okay. How many of you guys have bucket lists? Like what Mark says here. If ever we needed Christy, it's now. I agree. I don't know where she is. I just don't know. How many of you guys have bucket lists? And if you do you have like a bucket list, or do you have like a bucket list for a category kind of thing? I have like a bucket list of bass guitars, but I also have more general bucket lists as well. I'd like to get back to writing at some point. See if I can finish a book. Now knowing what killed my process every single time, and coming close to being able to deal with it, I would like to start thinking again about maybe doing a book, or a book of short stories or something. But that's a bucket list thing for me now. You know, when childcare takes up so much less of my time, maybe. There's all kinds of things that I have on a bucket list. I had this random thought while I was in the shower, that if I checked out now, today, I don't mean I'm having suicidal thoughts, but like if I just suddenly went poof, and I was gone, taken out by a bus or whatever, what have I not done? And there's a lot, you know? And I live in this state, like my default setting is, if I think or feel X, everyone must. And I'm constantly being shown that no, if I'm thinking or feeling X, most people are probably thinking or feeling Y, you know? But I think everyone's got to have a bucket list, right? I want to see Spain, or whatever. A short bus, of course. That's the motif for tonight, Russell. Destiny says yes to the bucket list. Unsurprised. Destiny, you and I sort of were on the same wavelength on a couple of things, so I'm not surprised that you have the bucket list. Russell has bucket lists. It's sort of by color, but I'm thinking of arranging the list by volume. 5 gal at the bottom, of course. I should have known that wasn't going to be taking me seriously. David has a travel bucket list, but you're pretty well traveled though. So what the hell's on your bucket list? I could tell you my travel bucket list in a Montreal minute. Russell is writing a novel. It's surprising how much I'm using and how useful is ChatGPT is to research. David used ChatGPT to help him write a country song. Country boy. Oh, bucket list: bagging a moose. Yeah, traveling to rural Japan and retire before you die. All our pipe dreams, but a guy needs to have dreams. I would love to see rural Japan, and I would love to order a drink from Bar Benfitic in Tokyo. Months and months and months ago, a couple of years ago now, I shared a bunch of sort of bartender ASMR videos with Russell, or I put them on the Discord. It's that bartender's bar, incredibly famous. He has a farm where he um, where he harvests all the plants that he uses for ingredients in his cocktails. Um, I would love to walk in there and order a drink. Absolutely. Destiny's bucket list is a mix. Mackinac for 1 month. Learn archery. Ride in a Sherp. Those are expensive flying/hovering machines. Okay, so those are like experience, like kind of adventure experiences for humans. Yes. Um, Svalbard, yeah, and explore. I agree. Marcel has a bucket list. It's good to know because so often, the story I keep telling you guys is how I was convinced my entire life until the age of 52 that everyone had a favorite dinosaur. Finding out at work, surrounded by coworkers, that was not the case was a seminal moment. F Destiny, live in a cave? We live in a cave home, Airbnb at first, fair. I don't even know where I'd find a cave home. Okay, group trip to see Jesse in Japan. Yeah, the Books Fest yacht, that's a great idea. We could sail to Japan. I wonder how long that would take. Jim finally found some pics on Discord now under pics. Okay, I will check those out when we're done here in 18 minutes. Destiny 7, get Ray's autograph. David, you must have a Ray bucket list. Don't tell us about the Ray bucket list, for God's sakes. Yes, you do. Live in a lighthouse for the summer. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be very, very cool. Fitzy's favorite dinosaur is the Triceratops. My wife's favorite dinosaur is also the Triceratops. Triceratops is cool because it could take on a T-Rex, right? T-Rex coming at it, it's like not necessarily going to win. Triceratops had this kind of weird ball and socket neck joint, so it could like whip its head around much faster than one would think, and like much more mobile than one would think. And they think what would happen is because Triceratops was gregarious, they lived in groups. If kind of like yaks or buffalo or whatever, one of the ungulates that I'm blanking on right now. If somebody sort of gets wind of a predator, they all sort of circle the wagons with their les cornes, their tusks. No, what the hell did they call it in English? Fudge. They're spiky things. They're horns. They're horns. That's what I was looking for. Sort of, kids in the middle, adults ready for business. I wish I could have seen them, like living and doing stuff. But like a lot of these herbivore dinosaurs were a whole lot more badass than you think. Like my favorite is the Stegosaurus, as I've said. And there's evidence that guy was deadly with that Thagomizer. There's an Allosaurus. Like its main predator, I guess, was the Allosaurus. Because here's the thing: Stegosaurus is an old dinosaur. Triceratops and T-Rex had it out a few times. This kind of deep space stuff sort of gives me the queasies, but the Tyrannosaurus Rex and Triceratops lived closer to us than it did to Stegosaurus. Okay, like Stegosaurus is old freaking juice. And so its main predator was the Allosaurus, and they've found at least one Allosaurus skeleton with a scar or a permanent damage from a Stegosaurus Thagomizer giving it a whack. That must have been like every time one of those guys went after the other, like that must have been a titanic fight. I guess if the Allosaurus got the jump on the Stegosaurus, it was a game over, but it was apparently because Stegosaurus had these like big back legs and like kind of small, and like it was really high up and much lower at the front. It looks like it was very able to sort of turn on a dime and get that tail like into action. This is not a dinosaur live stream, but I love them. Anyway, moving right along. Bucket lists. Learn how to go stealth in the forest. Yeah, being able to like walk noiselessly. Volunteer with red pandas in a sanctuary for a season. Oh, that would be so cute. Absolutely. Russell is asking if you had one superpower, what would it be? Fitzy says invisibility. David says bad breath. You might have that one already. I mean, we all might, after a couple of drinks. Russell would always something like always know the location of the nearest sushi restaurant. Okay. Marcel's bucket list is mostly all travel places in Canada, UK tour. Go back to Sweden for a visit in Norway, Japan, and Australia. We'll see how far I get. Russell says, don't go to Australia. They have spiders and shit. They have some spiders. But as Marcel says, they do have some epic beaches as well. Big spiders, great beaches. Here's a good superpower. Touch a guy's bald head and it grows hair. Imagine what that would be worth. Okay, but is it like you touch his hair and it's like cartoony, suddenly he gets hair everywhere? Or is it only where you touch? So you have to spend hours just touching every centimeter to make sure that he gets a good head of hair. I mean, you got to work these things out if you're just handing out superpowers. If you're distributing superpowers, you got to make them good. They're super. They're not like underwhelming powers. Visit that island that allegedly appears just off the coast of the UK, then disappears. I do not know this island, but I will Google it. Train with Ray. Okay. That had to get in there somewhere, right? Had to get in there somewhere. Russell says that superpowers in my universe work nicely. So you just have to place your hand on the head and the whole head grows hair again. Be nice to have some nice shining locks, flowing locks, flipping my hair in the wind. You have not been on a plane since 2006. Interesting. That's a while. Brigadoon? So is Brigadoon like your bucket list? Brigadoon. You're in Brigadoon. Oh, the island that appears off the coast of the UK, Mark. Right. Is that Brigadoon? Or was that just a village that only appears every something moon or whatever it is? Russell says, new superpower. You can stretch your ears to cover your head. Useful when it's raining. Gross. Hair today, gone tomorrow. Oh, God. Oh, I'm done. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Oh, there's only 10 minutes left. Destiny's asking Russell, how is Willow doing at the condo? Russell says, new superpower, you can stick your tongue all the way up your nose to clean out your buchers. No more Kleenex. That's gross, and giraffes already do that. I mean, they don't use Kleenex anyway, but you know what I'm saying. She bumps into things a lot, but she's mostly fine. I can just imagine. Poor dog. Poor dog. Like, I wonder if she knows that her site's going and she feels frustrated about it. Oh, no. Now I'm thinking about that, and I'm going to freaking ruminate on it. Oh, my brain, my brain. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. New superpower. You can win the lottery whenever you want. Boom. There's 30 mil. Boom, there's another 30. Wow. He keeps winning 30 or 40 mil at a time. I think I like my superpowers better than Russell's. Russell's new superpower. You fart a lot, but your farts produce nutritious food. Yeah, but I wouldn't. I'm like, this stuff smells like shit. 22:52. So time for Destiny to bow out on us. Thanks for the live tonight, Jess. I hope we made you feel a bit better. You did, of course. I appreciate all you silly people. They're very silly. Okay, bonsoir et bisous. Drive safe, Peanut Trucker. All right, good night, Destiny. Bluegrass. Are giraffes ruminants? I think they are. I think they are. But, I mean, I wouldn't go to the mats to defend that position. Like, what would they be if they're not ruminants? They are large African hoofed mammals. They are the tallest living terrestrial animals and the largest ruminants on Earth. Yes. Yes, they have ruminants. They also happen to be ridiculous looking. I don't think they're ungulates. They're in the kingdom Animalia, the phylum of Chordata, class of Mammalia, order of Artiodactyla, family Giraffidae, subfamily Giraffinae, genus Giraffa. Gotta love those Latin terms. Yeah, I don't think they're ungulates. There's no way. But I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't know enough about that stuff. I would love to know more about that stuff. I love listening to someone who can just rattle off and like just knows these things and just they're in this family of that kingdom of okay, the kingdoms are easy, but like family, genus, species. Well, species is pretty easy as well, but you know what I'm saying, right? I love listening to someone who has like encyclopedic knowledge of this kind of thing, or of like things that in space, the sciences. Like people just like can rattle off facts and figures and stuff. I love that. Marcel is reminding those of you who are left to hit that smiley thumb. And I back this message. Russell says, even if Junebug understood Willow's problem, I think she would happily lead Willow around, but she doesn't understand. I guess that makes sense. It's, understanding is so fundamental, so difficult, though, so clearly fleeting, just outside the grasp of poor Junebug, who would help if she understood, but does not have the grasp, doesn't have the understanding, doesn't have the brain power, because she's a dog. So sad. So sad. Is Willow's not a specific she's not a specific dog. In French we call them des races, but species? No, not species, because category, whatever. She's not like a purebred something, right? So it's not like this eye thing is common in her word, which escapes me right now because I just want to be in bed. Breed, thank you. So Willow is a German Shepherd, like straight up German Shepherd. So do they have this eye problem frequently? You know, like with golden retrievers, there's a hip problem that strikes a lot of them later in life, kind of thing. She's a purebred. Oh, and it is a thing for German Shepherds. Okay, it's a genetic thing. Yeah. Okay. Country Boy says, I watch a short all the time of Petey, the seeing eye donkey that helps out his blind horse buddy. Amazing. That sounds cool to me. Yeah. 22:57 people. We're almost out of this thing. We're almost done. I can't believe I made it to the end, he said, and then like keels over 2 minutes before 11, right? But yeah, I think maybe in another life I would have liked to have been a paleontologist or an astronomer or a geologist. I love the sciences. I absolutely love them. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of something to end the live stream off with, like a real bang, like just oh yeah. Now there's a message, but I'm kind of drawing a blank here. I've got to drink some tea because it is in fact a good drink. It's good for what ails you. Interesting. I mean, I'm looking at a picture right now of the extinct giraffid Simotherium in comparison with the okapi, which are around still today, and the giraffe. All right, David's out. Good night, all, he says, because it is 22:59, so he's got to leave a minute early. He and Destiny are incorrigible. Okay, hold on. Russell says, put together a list of superpowers you would like. You mean for the next live stream, or you mean post it in Discord? Country Boy says, tea is a good drink. There is a rapturous ending. Yeah, that's a good one to end on. And it is 2300. Russell, ping me on Discord and let me know if you want me to yeah. Marcel's out too. Yeah, we're shutting her down. Russell, you want that for next Tuesday, or you want you made some wintergreen tea? I will do that next time I'm somewhere where there's a lot of wintergreen. But right now, no, I'm shutting her down, but I will come up with the list for sure. So good night, everyone. Between now and next week, I would absolutely love it if you would all staying. Take two. I would love it if between now and next week, everybody here stayed sane, stayed safe, stayed healthy, and for land's sakes, be kind to one another. Good night, all.